I think that I'm not just a part of just hip-hop. I think I'm a part of greater just music in general.
Now we on some new stuff. I never fit the 𝗕𝗥𝗪𝗡.
We're all individual. We're all unique. And we all have individual philosophies. Sometimes, you know, when the image is too clean, people always want to try and taint it. I want the public to know that I'm a real person. I know what it is that I want, you know what I mean, and I want to see it reach. The miseducation of Lauryn Hill is, you know, at first it kind of throws people, you know what I mean, because they automatically think it's about me being miseducated. But miseducation is actually, it's like a metaphor for actually being re-educated, unlearning some bad things, you know what I mean, some things that I may have perceived to be the truth, you know what I mean, that actually weren't. It really has a lot to do with personal evolution and personal growth, and really understanding that there are things that society teach us which are like general pieces of information, you know, just for the general public. And there are things that are extremely important for us to individually learn, you know what I'm saying? Just as far as just personal relationships with other people, personal relationships with God, you know, just the way in which we should live our lives. We're all individual, we're all unique. And we all have individual philosophies and ways, you know what I mean, in which we're living life. And you know, I'm 23 years old now, you know what I mean, I'm grown up just a little bit, so it's like, you know, my miseducation took place, a lot of it, in the bright lights and you know, of the music industry. I mean, basically when I started this, first of all, I was still in high school, and I was just happy to be down, you know what I'm saying, I was just happy to be doing it. I was real naive, you know what I mean? There was a lot that I didn't know about. There were a lot of unspoken things that happened, not just in the music industry, but just the world in general, that I was unaware of because I was, you know, 16 years old, you know what I mean? Just happy to be in a studio and singing and making music. We came a long way, you know, we went from having an album that didn't do, you know, incredibly well, but people knew about us, and we were able to take our stage show, and from that, you know, we created a fan base, and then we were able to do the sophomore album, which was The Score, and that was cool because I was a little bit older, so I started to get a little more knowledgeable about the studio and what I was doing. My identity was developing more, you know, as far as who I wanted to be and how I wanted to communicate my sound. By this album, you know, it really is, you know, it's me. It was a challenge, you know what I mean, doing this solo joint, but it was something that I felt was necessary. I didn't wake up one morning and decide, yo, I'm about to do a solo album. It wasn't like that. It was more like, the music came. The music came first, and before I knew, I had all these songs and this direction and this sound that I really wanted to communicate to the world. And the best way for me to do it was to do it solo because it was extremely personal. You know, it was extremely personal and real special to me. And a lot of it I didn't think would really fit into a Fugees format. So at that point I knew it was time. When I look back now, I think that there was probably, first of all, there was good competition, because with any situation, you know, good competition just makes everybody take it higher. You know what I'm saying? It makes everybody be the best that they possibly can. I also think that we were very nurturing, but I think that, you know, in hindsight, you never know, you know, what affects other people. You know what I mean? The things that didn't affect me may have affected other people differently. And I think I was kind of naive, a little bit younger, thinking that, you know, that didn't bother me, and that was stupid what they said, and I'm not listening, and I'm not paying attention, if that's what everybody else was feeling. You know what I mean? Perhaps, you know, it bothered Pras, or maybe it bothered 𝗕𝗥𝗪𝗡 that people would say that I would go solo, and I didn't know, I wasn't aware of it. Later on, it was important to me that the world understand, you know, exactly how, you know, 𝗕𝗥𝗪𝗡, you know, how talented he was and how much he did contribute to the group, and you know what I'm saying? And also now with like the success of 𝗕𝗥𝗪𝗡𝗚, people feeling Pras. You know what I mean? It meant a lot to me because I knew how talented they were. You know what I mean? And it wasn't enough for me to just vouch for them. You know what I'm saying? And be like, yo, you know, these cats are dope. That's why I'm with them. But you know, you never know how other people respond to certain things. You know, you just don't know. I know how I was affected, and it really didn't bother me. You know, it really didn't mean anything to me because I knew where my loyalties were. Just hip hop, I think I'm a part of greater just music in general. I think I happen to be somebody who's musical, who just was raised in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So that's where my roots are. But I mean, it's definitely universal. You know what I mean? The things that I talk about, you know, exist both inside and outside the hip hop world.
I heard he sang a good song.
If anything, I'm trying to get, you know, I'm trying to broaden hip hop parameters. You know what I mean? I'm trying to, you know, allow us to be more sensitive and talk about real issues and, you know, express our feelings about relationships in a realistic sense as opposed to a material or you know, a monetary way. You know, it is ego-driven, but I'm not an ego-driven person, so, you know, I think that sets me apart right there. But I do hip hop, you know what I'm saying? I'm definitely a hip hopper.
Yo, can't no other in the barrier.
People try to tell me to, you know, to do a solo album, and that really wasn't where my head was. And I didn't think that just because people dug what I did, you know what I'm saying, that meant that I had to leave my crew. You know what I mean? I was real happy in Fugees land, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, there was really no need for me to bounce, and, you know, I wasn't even ready to do anything solo at that point. I was on a whole nother level someplace else. But, you know, the press is interesting, you know what I mean, because the same people who who would write that, you know, that she should go solo, you know, ultimately became the same people who were writing, you know, that, you know, she had nothing, you know, she was just a pretty face, basically, and that, you know, that the minds and the genius behind the whole Fugees formula, you know, belonged completely and solely to the fellas in the group. And, you know, I listened to all that stuff, and I thought that was so deep, because I was just like, wow, I was like, you know, it really made me realize, it actually humbled me, you know what I mean? For a minute I was upset, and I was like, well, that's not true, and, you know, I've got to be out there proving myself, but that's silly to me. I surround myself with family because I understand that, you know, this could very well be temporary. You know what I mean? People will love you tomorrow, will love you today, and tomorrow will be a whole other thing. So, but I know my family is consistent, you know what I mean, that they're constant. You know, so I adore my family. I always want to surround myself with family because they keep me humble and they keep me real. You know what I mean? It's not the easiest thing to do, you know what I mean? Because at the same time, you know, this is a business, and, you know, you want efficiency, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes, you know, with family, it's like, oh man, you know, you're supposed to bring those tapes at 9 o'clock, you know, but you still love them, you know what I mean? And you understand that, you know, even in this world of money and all other types of stuff, that family is really important. I've always been surrounded by love, so I never had any voids, you know, any empty spaces as far as like attention, you know what I'm saying, and love. And it wasn't until later that I started to meet people who, you know, didn't grow up with the same security, you know what I'm saying, and the same sense of love and affection that I grew up with. And I saw how it affected them, you know what I'm saying, and it really made me think about how blessed I was to be born into the family that I was born into. I was off the hook when I was young. That's the first thing. I was extremely dramatic. I was just one of those kids that used to like eat potato chips in the mirror and try to do plays outside on the block, and used to be behind my house in the back lot of the projects on the mattress flipping because the boys thought the girls who could flip were cute. You know, it was all that type of stuff. I was that girl. And you know, I always, you know, when they used to say like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I used to be like actress, singer, doctor. You know, I always had like a long list of careers, and I think I always thought that I was capable to do them all, and just pursued everything at the same time.
Girls, you know you better watch out.
And I want to see the fullest potential of whatever it is that I'm doing. You know, I want to see us reach that level. I just think that we all wear many hats. I think we're all just dynamic people, you know, and to think that you can't do something to me is real limiting. You know what I mean? I think that we're all capable of doing many different things. We just tend to sell ourselves short. out of fear, I guess. You know what I mean? In fear of failure, or fear of disappointment, or disappointing someone. But you gotta kind of take a chance with yourself, because that's how you'll know, your parameters. I mean, that's how far you can take it, is if you do try to take it. I think motherhood has influenced my life. You know what I'm saying? Just in general. I always say that Zion had the most to do about my miseducation, because it was like he revived me. You know what I mean? It's like God sent him to revive my spirit. It was like the most humbling thing, but I had never been in love like that before. You know what I'm saying? It gave me this renewed spirit about life and love and everything. And there were a lot of people who were very skeptical and discouraging, just because I was young and my career was thriving at the time. And I had been one of those people up until that point who would make a lot of decisions for other people, who would put other people's feelings before my own. And having Zion was really one of the first decisions that I made, which made me happy.
The word got out that you were pregnant. Mm-hmm. It sort of set off
nuts.
A witch hunt.
Yeah, it did. It did. And I thought that was nuts too. I thought it was crazy only because I'm real honest and real personal in song and lyric. And there are certain things that I just reserve, for my own self, for my private life. And I kind of, not one of those artists that, I'm not rolling around in the rolls, talking about how I'm different or what sets me apart from the rest of the community. I'm trying to show the rest of the community how I'm just like you, you know what I'm saying? So, just like nobody else, just like other people wouldn't want, people prying into their private lives. So I'm the same way. I'm just a regular person. And I think my fans have been incredible. I think the people, it's like the support that I have. A lot of people see me on the streets and they treat me like a sister, you know what I'm saying? And I don't mean like a soul sister, but I mean like, what's up, Lauryn? You know what I mean? Like they really know me, and it's, and I also hear a lot of encouraging words, like things that I say they may be able to relate to or they feel encouraged by, and that's a beautiful feeling, man. Sometimes the press has been a little sensational, you know what I mean? Sometimes they try to find things that, that for some reason cater to like this negative tabloid mentality.
Well, I think that with you, and I guess individuals like you, who there's nothing negative surrounding you.
But what's amazing though? You can always find someone. You can always find someone who tries to find it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like we're all humans. We're all flawed. No one's perfect. But we're out here doing our best and trying hard. And for some reason, when you put your soul and your music out there to the public, for some reason your everything, you know what I'm saying, becomes like public access. You know what I mean? And sometimes, when the image is too clean, people always want to try and taint it. It's not that I strive to be a positive role model, but I just strive to be myself. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not really doing this to please anyone but God, And sometimes, when you choose a side, particularly God's side, you automatically will have enemies. You automatically have opponents, people who would rather see you fall and rise. So you have to be careful.
Would you say that was part of the agenda that you had with your album?
Is to bring God into the agenda? Yes, definitely. Definitely. I think that not enough people praise him in music. The Bible was extremely relevant to me. People started to have faces. Things started to make sense. Psalms were comforting. You know what I'm saying? Words of wisdom and encouragement that really got me through some rough times. So if I could spread that type of word or spread that information to people and have them find that same comfort and that same peace and that same encouragement, then that's definitely what I want to do. Because I don't make any bones about it. He gets all the glory. It's not about me. I'm not out there trying to show people that like I was saying earlier, that I'm the multi-hat wearer and I'm so dope. It's not about that. It's because I know that I'm able to do what I'm able to do because he enables me to do that. You know what I'm saying? And it's just me bringing out this message because he chose to give me the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Not because I'm better than you or better than him or better than her, but because he gave me the power and the strength and the inspiration. I want the public to know that I'm a real person, and I feel the same pain and the same disappointment and the same joy, and I get excited about the same things. And but that there's hope, you know what I'm saying? And God is great, and that my music is for them, you know what I'm saying?
You're just too good to be true.